Everything is correct until proven wrong, a philosophical treatise on falsifiability, belief, and human agency by Azlan, Adnan, M.A. In the realm of human thought, two opposing attitudes have shaped our intellectual evolution. One assumes that everything is correct until proven wrong, a posture of provisional trust, optimism, and epistemic generosity. The other insists that everything is wrong until proven right, a stance of suspicion, caution, and skepticism. Both approaches grapple with the central question of how we come to know what we know. Yet, while the latter often postures as more scientific or rigorous, it can in practice be paralyzing, breeding a kind of epistemological nihilism. The former, by contrast, is more empowering. It allows for discovery, creativity, and action, even while accepting that errors may be inevitable and correction always possible. This essay explores the philosophical meaning and implications of the maxim, "Everything is correct until proven wrong," grounding the discussion in Karl Popper's philosophy of falsifiability, contrasting it with the disempowering alternative, and highlighting the role of this principle in sustaining intellectual vitality and human progress. The philosophical core of the claim. To say that everything is correct until proven wrong is not to advocate blind credulity or uncritical acceptance. Rather, it reflects an attitude of epistemic openness. It suggests that, in the absence of clear refutation, a belief, theory, or proposition may stand, not as eternal truth, but as a working hypothesis that enables further thought and action. This principle underpins much of human activity, from science to ethics to everyday living. We trust the road will hold as we drive, that our language means the same thing today as it did yesterday, that our friends will act in familiar ways. These assumptions are not naive. They are pragmatically necessary. They are correct, for now, until proven otherwise. In contrast, the posture of assuming everything is wrong until proven right invites a kind of epistemological paralysis. If we await absolute proof before accepting anything, we will never act, never decide, never build. This mindset misconstrues the nature of knowledge itself, which is always partial, provisional, and context-bound. It assumes that certainty is a prerequisite for action, a standard neither realistic nor historically supported. Karl Popper and the Logic of Falsification. The great 20th century philosopher of science, Karl Popper, offers a crucial lens through which to evaluate these two worldviews. In his seminal work, The Logic of Scientific Discovery, Popper argued that science does not proceed by verification, proving things right, but by falsification, or proving things wrong. According to Popper, no scientific theory can ever be definitively proven true. At best, it survives repeated attempts at refutation. A theory is scientific if, and only if, it is falsifiable. That is, if there exists a conceivable observation or experiment that could show it to be false. The strength of a theory lies not in its unassailable truth, but in its resilience in the face of empirical challenge. Thus, science progresses not by collecting confirmations, but by proposing bold hypotheses and ruthlessly testing them. Theories that survive such trials are not true in an absolute sense. They are simply not yet proven wrong. This epistemological modesty lies at the heart of Popper's thought, but it also reveals a deeper truth. We live by provisional correctness. In a Popperian world, everything is true until it is refuted. Theories guide action because they have not yet been falsified, not because they are indubitably correct. This is the very spirit of everything is correct until proven wrong. The empowerment of provisional knowledge. By embracing provisional correctness, we grant ourselves the power to act in uncertainty. We can build bridges, design vaccines, write laws, and raise children not because we have absolute knowledge, but because we have sufficient knowledge that has not yet failed us. This stance is empowering because it assumes that humans are capable of constructing meaningful and useful systems of belief, even if they are ultimately corrigible. It encourages us to test, to try, to explore. It affirms that we can know enough to proceed, even as we remain open to correction. It is the basis for progress. The alternative, assuming everything is wrong until proven right, can be stifling. It demands perfection before permission. It imagines truth as a fortress that must be stormed with ironclad proofs before entry is granted. This standard, while attractive in theory, is both psychologically and epistemologically unsustainable. It can produce cynicism, paralysis, and despair. Indeed, most human achievements were made possible by acting as if things were correct, even when full certainty was unavailable. The Wright brothers took flight not because they had conclusive proof of success, but because their understanding of aerodynamics had not yet failed. Galileo looked through his telescope and proposed heliocentrism not because he had irrefutable proof, but because the geocentric model no longer made sense. Societies change laws, adopt norms, and implement policies based on theories that are good enough, correct for now. The pragmatism of belief philosophers like William James and Charles Sanders Peirce, early pragmatists, understood that belief is not just an intellectual assent to truth claims, but a mode of action. To believe something is correct until proven otherwise is to engage the world with confidence. This pragmatism resonates with everyday life. When you trust a friend, you are not demanding proof of loyalty at every turn. You are granting correctness until shown betrayal. This is not irrational. It is rational confidence based on prior experience, patterns, and the absence of contradiction. It is a gamble, yes, but one that acknowledges the cost of doing nothing while waiting for perfection. Counterarguments and cautions. One might object, is this not dangerous? Might it not lead to dogmatism or blind faith? What about pseudoscience, conspiracy theories, or false beliefs that persist simply because they are not yet refuted? These are fair concerns. But the principle does not say everything is true forever unless disproven. It says correct, not absolute, and crucially adds until proven wrong. It is a call for open-mindedness, not obstinacy. It affirms that knowledge should be adaptive, not static. The key lies in remaining open to falsification, to new evidence, to being proven wrong. The misuse of provisional correctness, by refusing to accept evidence that disproves a belief, is not a fault of the principle itself, but a failure to apply it correctly. Science, democracy, and ethics all function best when they balance trust and doubt, faith and inquiry. Ultimately, to live as if everything is correct until proven wrong is to live with hope, responsibility, and humility. It recognizes that action cannot wait for certainty. It accepts that we must move forward, make choices, test beliefs, and live lives based on the best understanding available to us, knowing all the while that we might be mistaken. This is the spirit of exploration, the foundation of democracy, the lifeblood of science. It empowers individuals to think, to speak, to act, not recklessly, but responsibly and provisionally. We must not be paralyzed by the demand for perfect knowledge. Instead, we should embrace a philosophy that says, we are correct enough until the world teaches us otherwise. And when it does, we change.